So guys, today we're going to be doing this fun tutorial where we're going to be embellishing this dress, and guess the fun part of it, we're going to be making our own applique by ourselves. So if this sounds like something you want to learn or you're interested in learning, please stay tuned to the end of this tutorial. If you're new here, my name is Ifoma. I'm a fashion designer and a pattern dressmaker. And to my returning subscribers, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In this video, I'm also going to be sharing tips, pros and cons of making this dress. I just want to chip in this because I see some of you guys send me like pictures of things you recreate from watching my tutorials. I really do appreciate those pictures. I mean, you guys are doing so well. Maybe one of those days we're going to be having things my subscribers have made. So the link to my Instagram page is going to be in the description box below, just in case you want to send me some of the pieces that you made from my tutorial. Without further ado, let's jump right into this tutorial. But then don't forget to subscribe. Subscription is free. It will mean a lot to me. Click on the dumbbell so you get notified when I post a new video. Like, comment, because I really want to know your thoughts and suggestions on this project. Share with your loved ones, and let's jump right into this tutorial. Here are some of the things we're going to be using for this tutorial. We have our black velvet, our mesh fabric, we have our crepe fabric. Over there, this is the rhinestone trimming, and I have this in silver and black. So I got these little stones, but I ended up not using it. We have the glue, the peplum stay, we have the boning, we have the breast cup, we have the fishing line. I got this glue which I ended up not using, the fabric glue. Also, I'm going to be telling you guys why. We have this hand needle, it's for hand sewing tiny beads and all of that. We got the stone, our pattern paper, and basically this is everything close up. I'm also going to be leaving the description of each and every one of this in the description box, so you should check that out. All the information you need will be there. We're going over to our pattern paper, and I'm measuring down 2 inches in. This is to help us create this mesh illusion we have in between our bodies. There's no specific measurement of doing this. I just basically trace from the upper part of the bust where I want the curve to be all the way down to the 2 inches. Next up, I'm going over to close my shoulder dart. This pattern is a Natalie Bray bodice pattern, and it comes with a shoulder dart. So for those of you that your pattern doesn't come with a shoulder dart, you can obviously skip this process. I'm basically going to blend that out like so and connect that to the armhole. I do have a tutorial where I drafted the Natalie Bray bodice pattern on YouTube, but I'm going to be having an in-depth class very soon. When the flyer is out, I'm going to be posting here on YouTube and also on my Instagram, so you want to be following me on Instagram so you don't get to miss out. On the waistline, I'm dropping down by 2 inches, and on the other side, I'm dropping down by 1.5 inches. This is just to elongate the waistline, and I'm connecting that with my ruler. I'm also going to repeat the same step and drop down 1.5 inches and 1.5 inches on the other side, but in the video I did 1 inch actually. So I'm going to be connecting this with a ruler. So I'm measuring out the width of the dart. This is because I want to eliminate the lower front dart, and I'm going to be transferring that measurement I took to the side and connecting that with my French curve all the way to the hip line. So because the dress is going to have loops at the back, I'm doing this stuff where I'm going to take out some inches just so I'll be able to loop the dress, and it has this nice cross effect at the back. So I'm taking out some inches and I'm checking with my measuring tape how much I'm going to take out. I decided to just take out some more. Went in with my marker to highlight my lines, and next up I'm going to make my second channel where I'm going to be inserting my boning, and then over to the third channel where I'm going to be having my boning inserted. One thing you will notice is I didn't extend this down to the new waistline. This wasn't on purpose. red marker serves as, an indicator, because obviously there's a lot of line already going on this pattern. So it's just going to help me indicate where I'm going to cut through. And if you notice, this was where I observed that, oh, I'm supposed to like extend this down to the new waistline, which I later did. So guys, I was going to take out some excess and I took that on the zip part. I will advise you not to do that. So any takeouts you're doing should be done on the side. Moving forward, we're going to measure our 1 inch both on the zip, the sides of the lower hem, and I'm going to be measuring down from the hip line 1.5 inches and just marking that down. So we're going to be connecting our 1 inch to that 1.5 inch, just like in the video. So I'm going to be connecting this. This is to help us shape the lower part of our dress. This will give it like a pencil effect. Closing our front shoulder dart, I'm going to be taking the measurement of our front shoulder slope, and I'm going to be doing my check-ins also on the other side, which is the back. With this, I'm able to achieve my new shoulder line, and I'm going to be connecting that like so. Next up, I'm just tracing out where I'm going to be cutting out. Like I said, the red marker is just an indicator to where we're going to be cutting out, and I signify there net because that's where we're going to be putting or using an illusion mesh. I take the measurement of the back shoulder line. I'm going to extend that to the front shoulder line, and this will give us a new neckline. After tracing this, we're going over to cut our pattern piece. One thing you must know is you need to label your pattern piece. If not, you're going to end up confused when it's time to sew. After cutting all your pattern piece, it should look something like this. One thing I must say is I do have multiple tutorials on how I cut my illusion net, so I'm not going to go into further details in this tutorial, but I'm going to be adding tutorials that will help you achieve this better in the description box below. If you're an OG, I've taught this before. Shoulder to shoulder, you tape that down before doing your cutout. If you're new here, I'm going to be adding, like I said, I'm going to be adding tutorials. I'll help you in the description box, so you can check that out, because I'm not going to be going into deep details on this aspect of cutting this. So I'm just going over to pin this down, and then I cut this out. I feel like the video is so long for us to be repeating methods and all of that, so that's the reason why I'm cutting this short. Next up, I laid our skin tone crepe down, and I'm basically just going to be cutting our pattern piece and adding allowances. That's all we're going to be doing here. So after cutting this, I also cut the same pattern with a black fabric and also with the net fabric we're going to be using for the back piece. So this is what the pattern piece looks like cut out. I do have this stay and in black color that I'm going to be ironing on the wrong side of the crepe fabric. So once we're done ironing the black stay to the crepe fabric, I'm going over to pin this piece together. So after pinning, I'm going to take it over to my sewing machine to stitch down. One thing you might have noticed is for the back piece we just have two panel pieces, and at the long run I just decided to just make it 2 instead of the initial 3 to insert the boning. So after stitching this down, we're going to give this a good press and it should look something like this. So we have our back panel piece, we have our front, we also have our lining sewn in place. Moving forward to the front panel piece, and this is what we have for the illusion mesh. So we're going to be joining this illusion mesh to this crepe fabric. So this is what it looks like. The armhole and everything is already sewn in place just before joining this. Here's the 2 types of boning we're going to be working with. We have the sew on boning and then we have the normal boning, and they're both 0.5, and one we're going to be using for the cape and the other one is going to go on the dress. So we're going to be using the sew on boning just for the cape. Moving forward, we're going to be making our boning case and we're going to be inserting our boning. Taking this out, the next time we're going to be saying it was going to be constructed. We're going over to making the applique. That's the stone we're going to be using, and this is the rhinestone trimming we're going to be using to create our applique. And I'm basically just unboxing this. So we work with 2 types of stones. You could see the big stones over there and then the tiny stones which was going to be in the center, and we have the big stones going all around. You're going to understand what I'm talking about very soon. I had already done most of it. Did most of this off camera because it was time consuming to even want to set camera to film. I started out by securing a knot, and I proceeded to sewing down my first stone, and you can see that my fingernail is a mess. This is as a result of using glue for the other projects you saw before this. I had worked on multiple trimming before this. My hand is literally a mess, so I had to put this in black and white because I wasn't feeling comfortable with the way my fingernail looks. It makes it look like it's dirty, and it's not. It's just glue. I feel like this video is self-explanatory, and what I'm doing is I'm basically cutting out my rhinestone black trimming just so I could be able to glue that down. So I'm also going to go over with my fishing line and needle, but I went over to glue this down first just to have a firm base. See, at this point I had to just go and take off a few of the nails just so the glue stopped getting in them, and then it looks presentable and I don't have to blur or change the background of the clips. So I'm going over with the big stone. It does have little holes where you could pass your fishing line and your tiny needle through them, so I'm just going over to stitch that down. Oh guys, I noticed that I didn't talk about the base fabric that we're using for this. This base fabric is just basically what I got. I took a sample of an applique I saw to the market, and then I told the guy I wanted what they used to do this base fabric. Maybe next time, or in the comment section or in the description box, I'm going to add the name once I get the name. Like I said, the video is self-explanatory, and what I'm doing is stitching down. Then I'm going to go over to insert the next big Swarovski stone we're going to be using. I'm sure you notice how I secure each Swarovski and create, tight knots and then lock it, all of that. One of my downside of making this project is, my goodness, it's time consuming. I mean, what looks like, oh, it's just a 10 minutes and you're done, took hours, days to complete. Another thing I must say is you have to do your research well. Get the actual cost of these appliques if you decide to use them, and to get your costing and all of that, so you don't undercharge. Another thing you need to keep in your mind is you need more than the amount you think you need, because at the end of the day, I needed more Swarovski stones to fill up the dress. I needed more rhinestone trim to fill up the dress, and it wasn't in the budget, honestly. So it was kind of a bit that I undercharged. It wasn't planned. I felt like, oh, that was the right price until I started the project and I needed more money to fill up the dress. Obviously I can't ask my clients for more money. I just had to work with what I had. So guys, regardless of whether you're going to be doing your applique yourself, or you're going to get the ready-made applique or whatever, I just want you to know that you should always try to do your costing right. I feel like that should be something we should have a discussion about very soon on this channel. Costing, how to cost or charge for a dress properly. So guys, this is the 5th Swarovski stone we're sewing down on, and it's already having this star shape which we want. So when you're done sewing this down, it's going to look something like this. And you necessarily don't have to use this shape of Swarovski. They have different type and different shape, but I went for this one. Now we're moving forward to our black rhinestone, and what we're going to do is we're going to glue this down. I really recommend this E7000 glue. It really works well for this project. And when I first started, I was sewing this down. When I glue, I sewed this down, but I decided to just glue everything, and then while I'm attaching this to the dress, I am going to be making these little stitches and sewing it down. That way it's going to be more secure. So I'm gluing this all round, just to get that star shape. I know you get what I mean. And don't mind the little patches that has the glue. It's not going to show by the time we're done. So because we're mimicking, this other applique we've done, we're just going to be basically doing some measurement from the old applique and, transferring that to this new applique that we're trying to achieve. Gluing this down, one fun part about this is you can always adjust your piece if you're not satisfied with the look. And basically we're just going to continue the process of mimicking our applique. I'm sure I've stated this downside before. Just note that your nails, if you have nails or any fancy nails on, it's going to get ruined. So don't bother yourself. Trim off those nails or cut it off, or don't bother fixing your nails while you're planning on doing this project, because it gets messy with the glue. And as I said before, also we're going to be going over with our needle and thread just to secure this on the dress. So you can play around with shapes when you're doing this. I also did some cut out, all the small trimmings cut out just to fill up some spaces while making this dress. Done with all of that, I proceeded to using my scissors to basically trim off, our applique. You could use your scissors and you could use your soldering iron. I ended up using both. Once I was done with the trimming, I had something that looks like this, and if you notice, I do have variety of shape of applique I had cut out, and this is just to fill up. This is leftover Swarovski stone, and I do have some trimming which I was still going to be using for the dress, but for now we plan to just work with this. Along the line, I still needed like some trimming, so I'm going to get them. Moving forward to the body of the dress, as you can see, the upper part of the dress is almost done, and I'm going in with my candle just to smoothen the edge of the boning, so you don't have any discomfort when you're wearing this dress. So guys, once I was done inserting the boning into the dress, we proceeded to doing the loops. So basically, this is something we've done on this channel before, and we're kind of going to be speeding up the process because of time. So if you want to see how an in-depth tutorial on how to do this, we've done this before, and I'm going to be adding the video down below. But for my newbies, I'm going to be running this through. So the length of this rope is 2 inches we used, and the width size is 1 inch interval. So once I'm done with that, stitching all of that together, including the lining, it should look something like this. And honestly, it's already coming to life. We're going to be making a boning channel case over there, and with the help of my ruler, I'm just using my chalk to make lines where I'm going to be stitching down and make a boning case. So we're going to be inserting boning into those channels. Done with all of that, we're going to proceed to the lower part of this dress, which is the skirt part. And you can see that we've connected the skirt, we fixed our zip, and we're going to be joining the upper part to the lower part. And basically, I'm creating a notch over there just to get the midpoint, and I will also do that for the lower part of the skirt also, just so we could face this right side facing each other and pin down. So we're going to pin all the way, then stitch. After running a straight stitch, this is what it looks like, and we're going to be turning this inside out just to show you guys what I'm talking about. And this is what the inside looks like. We're going to be using the lining to cover that up. After that is done, it should look something like this, and I love the inside finishing. I love a good finishing. I don't like to see those raw French tips, none of that. This is what the dress looks like on the mannequin, and this is what the back looks like with the looping. So we're moving forward to the cape. Folded this down just to get our flounce, and I'm basically going in with my pin just to secure the ends. So I started off with the measurement I want the flounce to be, like the length of the flounce, before going over to run this in a circular form. So this is more like creating a flounce, but it comes with a trick.
here, as you can see, I'm slashing this open on just one side, and when we open this up, it should look something like this. We're taking this over to the mannequin. Here's the tricky part of the whole thing, because you have to try to drape this in form of a cape, and you could see that it's looking too bulky, but don't worry, we're going to trim off the excess. I want you to watch closely on how I'm trimming this off, and once I'm done trimming that, I'm going to pin down. Also, trimming this, you could trim to, the best of your abilities, basically, like how full or how long you want your cape to look, or elongated. So guys, if you notice, I kept a bit of space around the arm, and this is what it looks like. I'm going to take this over to my velvet material. I'm going to cut this out on my velvet material. So guys, for the record, this white material you're seeing is a peplum stay. So just in case you don't know what it is, it's a peplum stay. There are other things you could use to achieve this, and I would also want to know in the comment section, things you could use to achieve your cape. So we have two pieces of velvet. One is going to be for the lining, and the other one we're going to iron this on the peplum stay. The peplum stay has a sticky part where you could iron, and then it sticks to the fabric. This is our boning, and basically we're going to be sewing the boning to the peplum stay and creating some kind of ridge. So if you have other alternative on how to get your cape to stand, please let us know in the comment section, and we'll be looking forward to that. Next up, I'm going to line this and turn this inside out. Here's what it looks like after turning this inside out, and basically I just pin this down on my mannequin. So moving forward, we're going over with our needle and thread. I'm going to be stitching this half side just basically to the front. The back, we're going to be adding those clamps that I show you guys along the line. You're going to be seeing it as the video proceeds. Heavy, it wasn't lightweight. That's something I want you to keep at the back of your mind. I mean, obviously you're adding Swarovski and all of those details on the dress, regardless of if it's a short or mini dress. After applying all those details to it, the dress actually gained weight. So I won't say this is a lightweight dress. Looking like, and basically I'm going over to pin the appliques down in the right spots that I want it to be. hand, how you want the placement to be. Basically that's what I'm doing. I was supposed to deliver this dress the next day, so I'm really behind schedule right now as I was filming this. This is what it looks like, all pinned down. You could see some spaces and I plan on filling that up. I have my fishing line and I put the fishing line into my needle, and that's what I'm going to be using to stitch the applique to the dress. This requires a lot of patience. Sewing all of this off camera and we'll be back. So this is when we attach the clamps to the back of the cape that's going to hold the cape up. If you have better alternative, please let me know. This is the finished look of this dress, and I want you to rate this dress from a scale of 1 to 10. You could see we've added our Swarovski stones to the cape. We have our trimming. This is what the back looks like. We've come to the end of this tutorial. For more pictures and videos, you can check out my Instagram page. I do have pictures of my clients wearing this dress, and I'm going to see you in my next tutorial, guys.